Hello, it's Tooney SA here from Games Raised Awfully with the much awaited final episode of my Spyro the Dragon challenge run. I don't intend to make any more challenge runs on the first Spyro the Dragon game. May make a bonus video if somehow, somewhere, somebody manages to obtain something in one of the challenge runs I completed that I wasn't able to. But I see that as being very, very unlikely. But should it happen, I will do a bonus video and give them full credit for succeeding where I failed on something. Now, because you guys have been waiting 3 years to find out the answer to this question, I've actually blacked out the scores of the challenges of No Flame, No Charge, No Glide, and Pacifist Run. But if you don't care about the breakdown, because this video is going to be a breakdown of the scores and analyze what I missed and what we achieved. But if you just want to see the scores, you can actually look in the description. I will have put a timestamp of where you can just see the unmasking of the scores, and you can finally see which is more valuable to Spyro. Or you can listen to my analysis, it's up to you. So before we go through the breakdown, I thought it'd be nice to take a look at something that I compiled 3 years ago. When I first started this challenge, I gave people a 3-episode window to tell me how valuable they thought each skill was to Spyro. 3 episodes was the maximum, and then I closed the poll because any more than that you're getting too much information. And at that time, I had just done the no flaming and no charging challenges, inspired by RJ Waters' concept of the no gliding challenge. And I had no intention at that time of doing a no gliding challenge or a pacifist run. They came very late in the game, and therefore they were not included in the original poll. But I thought I'd share the original poll with you. It was taken on some Spyro fan websites, it was taken on somethingawful.com, and it was taken on my own Discord friends and a few of my Skype friends and real life friends. I've compiled it into what people thought would be more value to Spyro in their predictions. And as we can see from the compiled data, the majority of people thought that more could be done with the ability to charge over the ability to flame. That means that Spyro on the charge only challenge, the challenge where he's only able to charge, they figured that he would get more done than the challenge where he's only allowed to flame. Just to clarify what I mean by most valuable, so I call the challenges no charge and no flame, but the other name for them is flame only and charge only. So I'm just going to break down which score is on which area of the screen. The top left is the charge only challenge, which means no flaming allowed. The top right challenge score will be flame only, which is no charging allowed. The bottom left is no gliding, and the bottom right is Spyro in a nice cute little deck chair, because that's the pacifist route. But just for now, we're just going to focus on the top two for the poll. So by most valuable, I mean that people thought essentially that the top left challenge out of the 2 top challenges was going to win, to the point where charging would get a higher percent than just flaming. That's what this is about. It's about which one gets the highest percent. So if the top left score is the winner, it's because charging is more valuable, you can get more stuff done. If the top right challenge is the winner, it means that flaming is more valuable because we got more stuff done with flaming and not charging. If the bottom left challenge is the winner, it's because it means that we was able to do flame and charge, and gliding wasn't actually important at all. And if the bottom right challenge is the winner, it means that we didn't need to kill anything at all, and just collecting the treasure off the floor and defeating Gnasty Gnorc and a few egg thieves is all we needed to do. So of course, for those of you that voted in the poll, if you happen to be watching this, of course it's not about the bottom 2 challenges for you, it's going to be about which is the winner out of the top 2, even if another challenge ends up winning because they weren't in the original run, or the original poll I should say. So I'm going to take that off screen now, and we're going to begin on our breakdown of the challenges. So I'm just going to go in order from each one. I'm going to start with Artisan's Homeworld and break down Artisan's Homeworld for every challenge, starting with Charge Only, Flame Only, No Gliding, and Pacifist route. So let's start with Artisan's in the Charge Only challenge. So the No Flaming challenge, Charging Only is the only thing allowed. We got 100% in the Homeworld. We got 100% in Stonehill. We missed 21 gems on Dark Hollow on enemies that were too big for us to defeat. The Gnorcs that eat chicken and the Gnorcs in the cave to the right where one of the dragons is hidden in the secret area. They need to be flamed. We had to forget about those enemies. Town Square, we're missing just 10 gems from completion. That is one fan case that is sat atop of the end of the level where you rescue Thor. There's just 10 gems inside a fan case that we cannot destroy, no supercharge, and even if we try and get the bull to head towards the fan case, he can't destroy it. Toasty, we missed out on quite a lot of gems. We just got 39, so we're missing a large portion of the gems in Toasty, purely because we have to flame Toasty to get gems, and a lot of the enemies are hellhounds. We could get the shepherds, but we couldn't get the hellhounds, so they required flame. As I said that last sentence in my mouth, I just had an epiphany of an idea. I just cannot believe that this has just happened, and I'm so glad it did, because this has changed things very minimally, but it's still something that I regret not thinking of sooner. I had just got off the back of doing a pacifist run just for fun, and during that run I had to avoid all enemies at all costs because I didn't want to risk killing them. Turns out during that run I just remembered something ridiculously useful to enable me to get extra gems on Toasty. While I was doing that pacifist run, you didn't see this because I reloaded to before it happened to make sure that it wasn't on the video. But when I walked around the corner where there's a hellhound waiting, I dodged out the way and he jumped off the edge of the map and died instantly. Now, of course, I reloaded on the pacifist run because everything needed to stay alive where possible unless it was a scripted event. But what about the run where I can't actually flame the enemies? Nothing says that I can't let them just jump off a ledge and get me extra gems. So take a look at this. I just finished recording this right this second. It gave me a brainwave that I'm so excited to include in this video. Yeah, some amazing stuff. Just, it blows me away that this very late stage into the challenge, I still had an epiphany on getting extra gems on one of the challenges. So thank you God for that epiphany. You helped out one challenge by 7 whole gems, up from 39 gems to 46 for Toasty for the charge only challenge. That's pretty much all I can get on Toasty for sure. The other dogs are in very central locations and you can't coax them to go anywhere near the edges. That's the limit. But yeah, that's great. I'm really happy that happened. Sunny Flight, we had to miss out on the trains and we had to miss out on the Gnorcs in speedboats because we couldn't defeat them without flame, but we did get that late game change on the last episode where I got some chests using the dive into the water mechanic to keep sparks a bit longer and not instant die in that level. So that's not bad really. Flipping over to the flame only challenge. The Homeworld, we had the exact same score as the charge only challenge. Stonehill, we're missing out on quite a few gems because he introduced metal chests for the first time, and there's a bunch in the room to the left where you start the level, which we can't get, and I think there's one or two of those metal chests as well in the open area next to the watchtower where you get the dragon. So that's what we're mainly missing there. In terms of enemies, you can flame all the enemies, so we didn't miss out on any enemies. We also got the egg on both of those challenges, I forgot to mention. Yeah, so that Stonehill was a very quick and abrupt end to our perfect run on the Flame Only challenge. Dark Hollow, 100 out of 100 gems. Introduced metal enemies, but all of the metal enemies were susceptible to firing one for another, whether it was flaming their bottoms or whether or not it was just waiting for them to lower their shields, and there was no metal chests at all in that level. So in that way, it was kind of an easier time for us than Stonehill, when we were 100%. Town Square, again, lots of metal chests are the reasons why we didn't get 100%, because you can flame everything except the metal chest. The late discovery of the fan chest, being able to open metal chest thing, did enable us to get some extra gems to boost our score a little bit, but not massively. Toasty, we got 97 out of 100 gems, so we did considerably better on Toasty on this run than the other run, getting more than double of the gems, even with that late score change that just happened. We just missed 3 gems that are 2 metal chests next to the ledge of the area where the shepherd and the dog are waiting for us to run off the edge. Sunny Flight, you'll see a trend of flight levels going really well for us in the Flame Only challenge because we can get everything on Sunny Flight. That gives us 180 gems advantage over the Charge Only challenge. No gliding, so again, most of this challenge was completed by RJ Waters 2, and so I just copied his score and then adjusted them to add in the score changes that I got on the levels. So we're off to a great start, 100% on the homeworld with all the dragons. So far we've not missed a dragon on any of the challenges, I should add. Stonehill competes well with the Charge Only challenge by getting 200 out of 200 gems. We don't need glide for any of those. Dark Hollow, again, a very simple level with no gaps at all really to overcome, bar 2. So you get an easy 100 out of 100 gems, 3 out of 3 dragons. 100% completion on Town Square. RJ managed to figure out how to get up to the later parts of the level using the backwards tail jump and using a dip in one particular area of the level. Even though you don't need that, you can actually damage proxy off a bolt to get up there. But yeah, that was one way to get up there as well. Toasty 100%, no gliding required at all in Toasty, there's no gaps. Sunny Flight obviously counts as gliding, so the gliding only challenge takes a huge hit on this challenge run really, because you can't get any gems on any flight levels. That's huge, so 0 out of 300 of course for that. Finally we move over to the Pacifist run, where Homeworld, missing 17 gems. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, there's no 100% completed levels on this thing, because there's always, well actually I think there's one completed level 100%, but every other level I believe is not completed 100% due to the fact of enemies being present on every level. So the Homeworld, we're missing 17 gems. Some gems inside of Gnorcs that have 3 gems inside their sacks, there's 2 of those, and then there's a bunch of Gnorcs running around. 163 out of 200 gems in Stonehill, we're missing all the enemies, the Rams and the Shepherds. 66 on Dark Hollow, 171 on Town Square, 37 on Toasty, and 120 on Sunny Flight. We didn't get the train, and we didn't get the boat Gnorcs because they were really my actual enemies, and I count that as killing the enemy. Even though they don't directly drop gems, I kind of do represent gems in the part of the challenge, I guess. So yeah, in comparison, we have 100% runs on all homeworlds except for the Pacifist run. We have 2 100% runs on Stonehill, I think 2 challenges 100% in Dark Hollow for different reasons. 190 gems on Town Square lets down 1 challenge and 162 on another, whereas Town Square was a good payday for the No Glide challenge with a full house on 200 gems. The No Glide challenge was the only challenge that got all of the gems on Toasty, very close on the Flame Only, and very far behind from the other 2 challenges. Alright, that concludes Artisans. We're now going to go on to comparing Peacekeepers. Now we move on to Peacekeepers. We're going to obviously go back around in the exact same order again, starting with the Charge Only challenge. 100% completion on the Homeworld. We have 200 out of 200 gems, 3 out of 3 dragons, the egg. Nothing to be missed there. Dry Canyon, 326 gems out of 400. We're missing a huge 25 gem enemy right at the end of the level. He can't be defeated, along with every other bird wrangler that we actually come across. I believe that is the only set of gems that we're missing on Dry Canyon, is 25 huge gems from one enemy, and then the rest are scattered between other big enemies, and there's quite a few bird wranglers in that level, and they are the only enemies that we come across, is the bird wranglers that we can't defeat. Moving on to Cliff Town, we have 320 gems out of 400, 3 out of 3 dragons in the egg. We are missing the fat ladies. We can't defeat the fat shemplings. Of course, we can't get the gems outside of their stewing pots either, because that requires flame. And I believe that's everything. I think it's just the fat ladies and those stewing pots that we're missing on Clifftown. We're also missing the firework. We can't use the firework to get the strong box as well. That requires flame. You can't get the strong box opening any other method. So we're missing quite a big, sizable 60 gems on Clifftown, but it's not the end of the world. It's not too much really. Ice Cavern, 362 out of 400, 5 out of 5 dragons. You can pretty much already see with Ice Cavern, we know where the gems are. It's in the big enemies that can't be charged. You can charge a few of the metal enemies and they'll fall off the edge, but the big enemies we can't actually do that, so we're missing out on nearly 40 gems there too. Dr. Shem, we actually managed to get quite a good amount of gems considering we can't defeat the boss. Unfortunately, we can't get to the very end of the level where there's a lockbox and things like that, because even though the last bridge is, you can glide across to the last bridge in Dr. Shem from the actual podium where you fight Dr. Shem, to get to that point is not actually possible. It's too far to glide over the bridges, unfortunately. Night Flight, 120 out of 300 gems. Again, we could get a bunch of stuff such as the rings and arches, but we couldn't flame the lighthouses. We couldn't flame, I think it was some things, I don't remember which exactly. Oh no, it was the chests. We can't actually get the chests on that level. They're too varied, too spread out, and we don't have enough time to play around, really. On the Flame Only challenge, we're just missing 10 gems in the Homeworld. It's chests that, it's either 1 or 2 chests, I don't remember exactly, at the very back of the level. No cannon can reach that far to open those chests, so we're missing out on those. Dry Canyon, we got 380 out of 400 gems. Yeah, but it was 380 gems. Using the fan chests, we managed to get an extra couple of gems that we previously didn't have. We got 4 out of 4 dragons, and we got the egg. Just missing 20 gems on that level. 20 gems we are missing are just on a bunch of metal chests around the return home portal. The fan chest just doesn't reach it, and the enemy projectiles just don't break open the chest, which is unusual. And then of course we have a few chests on the ridge between that connects the 2 separate paths. There's a few metal chests up there that you can't break open either. Clifftown, 313 out of 400. There's quite a large amount of metal enemies on this level, so we obviously missed out on those, and there's a fair amount of metal chests, even though we did get the strong box. Compare that to Cliff Town on the other challenge. It's a very close match between the two. The other challenge edges it by just a measly 7 gems, so that was a good competition between those two. Ice Cavern has 319 gems. There's a bit more of a disparity between gem counts and the challenges on that one. We're missing out on, as expected, metal chests, and we're also missing out on metal enemies that you charge off the edge. They cannot be convinced to move from their spot without charging them, unfortunately. Dr. Shem, we managed to pick up more of the gems because we can actually attack Dr. Shem. All of the metal enemies kill themselves, which is great. We're just missing on some metal chests in various parts of the level. We did significantly better on Dr. Shemp on this challenge than the charge only challenge. Then we come to Peacekeepers, where sorry, not Peacekeepers. We come to gliding, no gliding on the Peacekeepers. We get 100% on the homeworld, great stuff. It's on par with the charge only challenge and just slightly ahead of the flame only challenge. Dry Canyon, you actually get a good amount of gems with the gems that we obtained on the last video I produced. We got a few extra, not beating RJ by a lot, but we did actually get 1 dragon more than RJ out of this situation, so that's already a huge bonus from what RJ did, and it actually obviously contributes quite well to percentage getting dragons. So we did pretty well on Dry Canyon without gliding. Things missing are the strong box that's just way too far out. You can't even come halfway, that's how far out it is. So that's just a no-go. And I think that's all of the gems that we're missing is over in that part. Cliff Town, 316 out of 400. We're missing gems up on the second part of the level where you get to the end and you're advised to glide across. There is a whirlwind that triggers there, but you still need to get over and release the dragon before the script that releases the whirlwind activates. So we are missing gems on Cliff Town, and we're also missing 1 dragon on top of the highest cliff, I should say, that activates a whirlwind, and all the gems up there. So Cliff Town is bordering close with the flame only challenge and lagging ever so slightly behind the charge only challenge. Ice Caverns fared the best out of all the challenges so far because there's not a lot in terms of gliding needed on Ice Cavern. Just missing out on the key that opens a lockbox, so we're missing out on the key, we're missing out on the lockbox, which has quite a nice amount of gems in it, but otherwise we're missing out on 3 1-ups, and that's about it. All the dragons, no problem. Dr. Shem, 275 out of 300, just missing 1 single gem of value, which is way out in the boonies. It's on a chasm again, almost as far out as the gems on Dry Canyon. Can't even get halfway close to it. Night Flight, of course, flying level 0 gems. And finally the Pacifist Run, 146 out of 200 on the homeworld. Dry Canyon, 240 out of 400. Cliff Town, 308 out of 400. The only level really worth talking about on this particular, 2 levels worth talking about, because everything else is just standard. I couldn't kill the enemies, nothing special at all to do about that. Well, 3 levels actually, because there's the trick on the homeworld that enabled us to get around and get a lot of the stuff in the homeworld that usually you need the cannon for. But obviously we can't kill the enemy to man the cannon. You can't actually use the cannon until the enemy that's usually in charge of it is defeated. But the levels of interest are Dr. Shem, because we had the whole what counts as a kill and what doesn't, and in the end scripted killing by NPCs we allowed, so we collected some gems there. We also got a very nice glide at the very end of Dr. Shemp, which enabled us to get some gems at the end of the level. We also managed to open the lockbox. Yep, we're just missing killing Dr. Shemp himself entirely and killing the fat ladies. Night Flight, 300 out of 300 is the other level of note, because I believe it's the only flight level that we can get 100% on this run, because everything else involves killing an enemy. This one just has arches, rings, and lighthouses and chests, so we can get 100%. That's a good turnaround for that level in particular. So yeah, we had some pretty good scores, all things considered, on all of the levels, with the exception of Night Flight on the No Glide challenge for obvious reasons, but everything else, yeah, those scores are looking pretty tidy. That sums up Peacekeepers. We're now going to go on to Magic Crafters. On the Magic Crafters, we begin with the charge only challenge, getting 100% on the homeworld. 2 eggs, I remember it well. Very easy, very little in terms of ingeniousness or ingenuity needed to achieve 100% on that. Just use the supercharge ramp to pretty much solve everything on the level. Alpine Ridge, we're missing exactly 101 gems. Mainly large enemies such as the Elder Wizards, the weird monster things. I'm not sure if they have names, maybe they're just called beasts, I don't remember exactly. But yeah, we're missing quite a bunch of gems on those. There's also the fan chests. There's no supercharge ramp or anything like that inside this level, so we can't get any of the fan chests. High caves, we 100% in that level. Again, any level with a supercharge ramp, there's a high likelihood that we're able to actually get everything, and High Caves is the perfect example of using the supercharge to get everything. Wizard Peak, we remember in the very last episode of the challenge run, bar that little toasty clip earlier, we managed to get that Elder Wizards and a few, we got a lot of enemies on that last video. We was on something like 420 gems or something like that. Or 440 gems, I don't remember exactly, and we got something like 60 gems just from supercharging our backsides off, our dragon hides off, that's the one, and we ended up with another completed level, 2 in a row, and so far 3 on the Magic Crafters homeworld. 2 eggs, of course. Eggs were never really a problem in this particular run because we're able to charge. It was only really a problem on Alpine Bridge, but thanks to that little glitch we figured out from speedrunners, it enabled us to get that thief. Oh wait, no, that was the other challenge where that was a problem, never mind, ignore what I just said. But anyway, yeah, Blowhard 285 out of 400. We couldn't initially flame Blowhard. Using a damage proxy, we managed to get up to the latter part of the level and at least make a big dent in what we had before. I think we had around 175 gems before that, and we got something like 100 out of it. I don't remember exact numbers, but originally we was only able to see the first third out of 3/3, of course, on the level. Crystal Flight 120 out of 300. Arches and rings, chests way too difficult. I think objectively, possibly even more difficult. It could be subjective, it depends. Subjectively more difficult than Night Flight to get the chests. But we got all the dragons, all the eggs, and we actually got 3 completed levels. That's a big victory for this challenge. Compare that to the Flame Only challenge. We got 271 gems in the homeworld. We're actually able to get a few extra enemies using the fan chests. Hooray, hooray. Wait a second. That's Peacemakers. Okay, small edit. Magic Crafters on the Flame Only challenge. Let's compare that. We see 228 gems out of 300 for the Magic Crafters homeworld. We got quite a lot of extra stuff using the fan chest Death Abuse, but still missing a large amount that we wasn't able to get. Alpine Bridge, 443 gems out of 500. High Caves, 415 out of 500. So yeah, Alpine Bridge, we actually managed to get an egg that I thought was previously unreachable using the speedrunner glitch. That's the egg I was accidentally quoting on the other challenge I was just talking about. We managed to get this egg, which was one of the more difficult eggs to figure out. It took me a long time, but we got an extra egg thanks to that little glitch. Otherwise, I'm not sure to be honest, if that would have been possible. Missing chests and lots of metal enemies, pretty much the same as the homeworld, and missing lots of metal druids. High caves, 415 out of 500, again mainly metal chests that we're missing. We did make a nice amount of special flaming runs to get very minimal gems, but they were still like, I guess, some of my favorite things I figured out were actually getting some of the chests in that level using flame. Particularly the platforming to get that one chest that was ridiculously far away. That required absolute perfect timing. Wizard Peak, 387 out of 500. Thanks to that amazing glide, we actually managed to get the final egg, giving us 100% completion on eggs. We also managed to get some extra gems in some of the hidden areas, but alas, metal chests, no metal chests of course, and there's quite a few metal druids on the level. That's where we're missing most of the gems. Also at this level you're supposed to supercharge, so we are missing a strong box as well that has gems in it because there's no option to flame it open. Blowhard is a much easier level on this challenge because we have the option to flame, so we got 345 out of 400 gems. There's no invincible enemies to us, it's just only metal chests that we missed out on that level. Well, the only dragon of course. If you've seen a trend here, we've not missed any dragons so far on either of the top two challenges. And Crystal Flight, another easy to complete 100% flight level, and you're seeing a trend here, we're completing all the flight levels, which is giving us a huge advantage on those levels in gems, because there's 300 for each flight level, and on average so far we're getting 120 on the other run, so we're making 180 per level, and we've had 3 of those already, so just bear that in mind. Magic Crafters for the no gliding challenge, we got 100% completion on the homeworld, no issues there. Alpine Bridge, we actually can't progress anything extra than what RJ accomplished because the final area of Alpine Bridge requires gliding, there's no doubt about it. Even with the knowledge of the glitch, you still need glide to get through there, and there's no way lower down you can get a jump high enough to reach that. Even with a damage proxy, there's not an enemy close enough to make that an actual thing that could potentially work. High caves, 500 out of 500 gems on that one. Wizard Peak, 500 out of 500, no problems there. RJ did some pretty good stuff with Wizard Peak to get some of the last gems. Like pretty much every challenge that we've looked at, Wizard Peak was a challenge in some way or another to get gems. But yeah, it joins the charge only challenge with completing that level. I believe the final wizard on the charge only challenge is the same final wizard that RJ took out on his Wizard Peak rerun. Blowhard, easy peasy, not much in terms of gliding needed, everything was pretty close. Crystal Flight obviously 0, nothing special to talk about really. In Magic Crafters I didn't really do anything more than RJ in Magic Crafters if I remember correctly. I think he got pretty much everything that was available. Let's look at the Pacifist Challenge now, where we get 177 gems on the homeworld, 363 gems on Alpine Bridge, 396 gems on the High Caves, 312 gems on Wizard Peak, Blowhard 265 gems, and Crystal Flight we actually beat the average of 120 that we've got so far, and we get up to 180 gems. So not too bad. On the Pacifist run again, there's not really much to talk about in terms of the Pacifist run because it doesn't really have anything special other than just avoiding enemies and get gems where we can. Got some last minute couple of gems from behind the Blowhard level, which I just neglected. But yeah, that pretty much sums up Magic Crafters. If we take a look overall how it's looking, the charge only challenge got 3 completed levels, whereas the flame only challenge only got 1 completed level, which was Crystal Flight. So in some regards the no charge did a little bit better on some levels and not so great on others like Blowhard. But overall, I think that the Charge Only Challenge had a better time than Magic Crafters. If you look at the scores of High Caves and Wizard Peak in particular, as well as the Homeworld. No Gliding Challenge, that also had 4 completed levels. That was the Homeworld, High Caves itself, Wizard Peak, and Blowhard were all complete levels. Hurrah, hurrah! That's a very good time for that level. Pacifist Run, Pacifist Run's just chugging along, doing its best to keep up, because obviously then there's no levels that are being completed, bar one so far, which was a flight level, but otherwise it's just doing its best to stay relevant, I guess, at this point. It's already off to a pretty poor start compared to the other challenges with no complete levels except for one. Beastmaker's Charge Only, we got 266 out of 300 gems in the Homeworld, and 2 out of 2 dragons. Terrace Village, 289 gems out of 400, Misty Bog, 405 out of 500. Treetops we got 100%, and it was our only 100% level in the Beastmakers for this challenge. Metalhead 484 and Wildfire 120. So what are we missing? Beastmakers, we're missing some boars that you need to flame. I think that's mainly what we are missing, is the boars that you need to flame. There's only one boar that dies by a scripted event in that level. Terrace Village, we're missing all of the big enemies, and there's quite a lot of them in this level. We're also missing a couple of fan chests. Misty Bog is very similar to the Homeworld in terms of its enemies and the boars, so we're missing boars there as well, and we're also missing quite a few fan chests in that level too. They also have the dragon-eating plants, and we can't kill any of those, so I'm pretty sure all of the gems we're missing on Misty Bog are fan chests and enemies. Treetops, we obviously got 100%, nothing to talk about. Metalhead, we can't kill a few of the big enemies that kangaroo kick the small enemies, of course, no way to kill them. And Wildfly, we can't get the speedboats and we can't get the planes with just charging. Compare that to the other challenge room, the flame only challenge room. We have 271 gems in the Homeworld. We are missing out on a few metal chests inside a hut. We're also, I think that's actually everything actually. I think we're missing some metal chests inside that hut, and some metal chests next to the Metalhead portal that we couldn't get open. Even with a fan chest right there, it doesn't reach. Terrace Village, we managed to figure some last minute things out to get some more gems there. Unfortunately, some fan chests don't quite go far enough to get all of the enemies that we actually think are possible, otherwise there'll be probably about another 10 gems in it for us. But we can be satisfied with 323 gems getting what we did. We're missing out on obviously the metal enemies, some of the metal enemies anyway, we've got some of the others. Speaking of Terrace Village, the other challenge we did actually, I forgot to mention, we missed out on the fireworks, that we can't open strong boxes with those fireworks, I forgot to mention that. Misty Bog, we got a few more gems on Misty Bog on this challenge than the other challenge, although it was pretty damn close. Again, missing the usual chests here and there, and a few metal enemies that we can't get. Even that one boar, we tried tricking to get that one enemy, he just doesn't. Treetops, we did significantly worse on this run because of the lack of supercharge, so we have to make do with 407 gems. Metalhead 440 out of 500. Obviously, we was lucky with this boss because it's the only boss we can defeat without flame. 440 gems out of 500, and we're just missing some metal chests really here and there. Otherwise, we did pretty well. Wildfly 100% as per usual. Looking down onto the no gliding challenge. Thanks to my tricks in the no gliding challenge that I pulled off, we got 100% in the Homeworld. Hooray, hooray! Terrace Village, thanks to some tricks I pulled off, we got 100%. Hooray, hooray! Misty Bog, I think, was already completed if I remember correctly. Treetops also 410, missing gems where the gold thief is, and we're also missing a dragon there. So it's one of the dragons that we're missing. Very difficult to get over. You come quite close on some attempts, but you just know that it's not possible. Wildflight, of course, 0 gems. To the right we have the pacifist run. Nothing really of note to talk about except Metalhead was an interesting level to try and figure out. In the end we had to go with the whole scripted deaths scenario to actually so that we could just do the level. We also had some fun getting into the castle that Metalhead guards, and there's usually a wooden door there so you can't get in until Metalhead dies. But a very succinct glide will fix that problem. So yeah, it was looking pretty good, mainly for the charging challenge, as it's the challenge that got 100% actual level with treetops. The Flame Own challenge only got 100% level with Wildfly, as to be expected. And if we look at the No Glide challenge, it did bloody well. Homeworld 300, that's 100%. Terrace Village 100%. Misty Bog 100%. That was a very good run on all 3 of those levels. The only downside is we missed out on Dragon in this world. On to Dreamweavers now. We're going to compare the scores for this world. The home world, 275 out of 300 gems, with 3 out of 3 dragons. With the 15 gems we're missing, I can recall, the 25 gems that we're missing that I can recall are 2 armoured monks that guard the pathway to Icy Flight. You need to use the Dream Cannon to shrink them so that they can be defeated. We can luckily bypass them to get to Icy Flight thanks to the little proxy, but it does mean that we leave 10 gems apiece in both of them that we cannot obtain at all. The other enemy that we're missing is a slap-happy monk that sits directly outside of the Dark Passage portal. He never gets touched by the cannon. Doesn't matter if you quit the game and go back in, or go into Dark Passage and come back out, he will always be in large form. We used that trick to manage to get an extra enemy by exiting the Lofty Castle portal and just charging as fast as we could, but this enemy is different, we can't actually reach him in time. So we have to sit out on another 5 gems with that guy. Onto Dark Passage, it's a different story. We actually could get quite a lot of things done. With the exception of mainly the large Cupid enemies. We could trick, on the other challenge we could actually trick the Cupids to kill enemies for us, but this one, while the Cupids can still obviously kill multiple small enemies, they can't kill each other using their bows. The arrows just go right through other Cupids, so we're missing quite a few tall enemies on Dark Passage, but we did get all of the small enemies. We're also missing the firework at the very end of the level, which I'm pretty sure drops like 40 or 50 gems, I don't remember exactly. The strong box that's right by the return home portal, you need the firework at the very end of the level, and of course we can't use that, so we have to let that firework crate disappear into obscurity. Lofty Castle, we got 100% completion. It was a level where I legit thought that we would be sitting 5 gems away from completion until the very end, until I figured out in the last episode that I did of this challenge run that by doing a proxy off the fountain we could get that last enemy. So Lofty Castle ends up being our first and our only 100% level in the Dreamweaver's homeworld. Haunted Towers is definitely the most interesting level on all 4 challenges, because it's the most unique level whereby there's something blocking our way for every single challenge, and I'll just speak specifically about this challenge first and speak about the others when I get to them. So for this one, of course, we had the first thing that we had to deal with was the armored knight that just tries to block our path at the very start of the level. Luckily, you can actually just run around that guy, but he's the only knight where that is actually possible. So after bypassing him, we get up to the Whirlwind, where we're greeted with a metal door that leads to the second third of the level. You need Super Flame usually to open that, but of course we couldn't do that, and eventually we figured out that by using a wizard proxy, similar to the one that we saw in Blowhard. We can actually access the rest of the level. Supercharging enables us to get a lot done on Haunted Towers. It just doesn't quite stretch to the point where we can get everything like most levels. Most levels, when we have Supercharge, we can actually get away with doing everything, but this is an exception because we can only use the Supercharge to get over to the secret area, but it doesn't get us even close to getting up to the Strombox level. So you go around the Supercharge and you go to the secret area, and there's a whirlwind, but while it gets us to the whirlwind, fine, you can't carry the Supercharge up whirlwinds, and we don't have enough height to actually make that platform by even a close call. It's really distinctly impossible, which means that we can't get a lot of metal enemies, we can't get the Strombox, and we can't get the level completed, which is a shame. But I'm really happy with what we did get done with Haunted Towers after I wrote it off pretty early on in the challenge. Jacques is the next level, 349 gems out of 500, 2 out of 2 dragons. Jacques is another interesting level where, because it's a boss level similar to Blowhard, we wrote it off as, okay, we're gonna get a lot done, but we're not gonna be able to complete the level due to pretty much every boss except Metalhead requiring flame. So we did our best with Jacques and then we left it, but then I came back to it and I thought, wait a minute, RJ never tried this because there was no need to, due to the fact that there was a whirlwind and you can't glide anyway. But when you can glide, we don't actually need to flame Jacques at all. We can just walk past him and we can do a bounce jump onto the whirlwind and complete the level. We of course leave 100 gems sitting inside of Jacques himself, but we did manage to get a good amount of gems from that extra bit. I think we got an extra 75 gems that I thought originally were not obtainable. Icy Flight, we get 60 out of 300 gems. Icy Flight being the only flight level where you can get a bit more done without actually abusing the sparks trick. Actually, that's not true, the 2 middle flight levels as well. But out of the 3 flight levels that I improved upon, this was the only one where Sparks' mechanic was not needed. So we got 60 gems from chests. We couldn't get the trains, we couldn't get the lighthouses of course because they require flame, and we couldn't get the Gnorcs on the helipads. Moving on to the flame only challenge, Homeworld, 238 out of 300. It's no surprise really because the Homeworld does have quite a lot of metal chests, and it does have quite a lot of metal armored druids. So that's pretty much all that we're missing in the Homeworld is armored enemies and chests. We was able to use the shrinking cannon, but that doesn't really help us with even the small metal enemies. So Dark Passage, we got a very impressive 475 out of 500 gems. Just 25 gems from completion, and it's a level that sticks in my mind because this level on this challenge was one of the worst for me to do. I had to watch the old footage of me going through this level numerous times to remember what I had got and what I hadn't got because of how the level ended up having to work. We was able to trick a lot of enemies to kill each other using their projectiles. We actually managed to kill almost every enemy using this method that we thought that we couldn't get. So most of the metal UFO turtles were killed in the end, but we are missing a few UFO turtles that actually can't kill each other because they're either too far away or the fireball just goes through them. I'm thinking particularly of the 2 UFO turtles. They're notoriously in front of a stairway towards the end of the level, and their fireballs like spawn inside each other and they exit out the other side of each other without killing each other. We're also missing a bunch of metal chests, I think we're missing at least 1 or 2 metal chests anyway. And again, another one springs to mind where there's a UFO turtle and there's 2 chests in front of him. He gets the further away chest, but big or small, he cannot be tricked into getting the
the front chest and the archers, their arrows don't reach far enough, they despawn before they get close enough to open the chest. Moving on to Lofty Castle, we got 100% on this level, same as the other challenge. Thanks to a bunch of stuff, like particularly figuring out how to get up to the area where you can get gems. You're supposed to use supercharge to get over there, but you can either use the head jerk that I legalized, or you can just glide there. So it's legal to get those gems regardless, and that was basically the only problem with Lofty Castle that we came across, due to the metal chests usually being within range of cupids or fan chests, so we was able to get everything. Hooray, hooray for Lofty Castle. Haunted Towers, again, the talking point, 100% completion. If you go back and watch the original walkthrough of Haunted Towers that I did on this challenge run, I barely got anything done due to the fact that you get almost to the same distance through the level as with the other challenge, where yes, I can get through the door now, hooray, but then you need supercharge to get through the other door. You can kind of glide to the left to get to the fake out supercharge ramp, but that just gives you a few extra gems, nothing too fancy. Of course, it all came to fruition though when we did the wizard proxy to get to the secret area, which allowed us to get to the unlimited super flame, the only one in the game. And unlimited super flame basically is better than supercharge. We can get absolutely everything done without any problems at all. So I'm really happy with Haunted Towers on this challenge as well. It was 100% completion. It's the second completed level. Jacques, we was able to get almost exactly 100 more gems than the charge only challenge, due to the fact we could actually kill Jacques, getting the 100 gems there, and we could also then of course get the 75 gems after him anyway. So I'm not exactly sure what the extra 1 gem is that we're missing. I know we're missing 100 gems from Jacques, but there's a 1 extra gem that we're missing in difference. It might be an enemy, I don't know. But yeah, of course there's a few enemies that we can't kill that are metal enemies, so it's actually clear that it's a bit to do with the enemies that we could kill, because there's about 50% enemies that we can kill with flame and about 50% of enemies that we can't because they're metal. So it's a pretty even level in terms of that element, but Jacques was the difference maker. Of course we get 100% on Icy Flight, so nothing to talk about there. Alright, so the no gliding challenge, Dreamweavers, thanks to, full credit as well, thanks to RJ's amazing jumps that he does during that level, you're actually able to get everything without cheating and using the whirlwind, even though whirlwinds themselves are grey areas. If you do want to write off whirlwinds in your challenge run, then you don't need to touch a whirlwind. Well, you do need to touch a whirlwind, but you don't need to actually use a whirlwind to get around the level. I'm thinking of the cannoneer part. You do need to go into the whirlwind just to get enough height, but even if you charge directly out of it, you're fine. So yeah, nothing to talk about in the home world, it's all done. Dark Passage, 396 out of 500 gems, near completion. It's pretty obvious what we're missing on this level. You can do pretty much everything except for the very last section of the level, where you get to the final dragon and then you need to glide across a really huge gap to get to a few more enemies, the hardest room in that level, and the firework that sets off the strongbox at the end of the level. So that's where all of the gems are missing there. Nothing really we can try to get around that, it's just not possible. Lofty Castle, 400 out of 400 gems. This was one of the stages where I proved that you can get more things than RJ could, and I'm talking considerably more due to the fact that using the method that I used to get up to the supercharge ramp, we established once you get supercharged on Lofty Castle, you can actually get everything. So yeah, 400 out of 400. Haunted Towers, 500 out of 500, fully complete. Again, the talking point of this level is once again a wizard proxy, but to get up to Haunted Towers without the whirlwind and without gliding at all, you need to do a different kind of wizard proxy, because of course the other wizard proxies I've been doing on the other 2 challenges on this level involved me gliding and holding A mid attack to bounce me upwards so I could glide somewhere. That's not an option here. I had to do more of a blowhard style wizard proxy where I hit the wall with a charge, take damage and get sent upwards, and then immediately charge out of the flop. But it does mean that we can get to the super flame, and it does mean we can clear the level. Jacques, 351 out of 500 gems. I don't believe I got anything extra on this level actually that RJ didn't. Oh yes, I did. I forgot. Right at the end, I figured out that Jacques. This was actually a glitch that I saw in a speedrun. So the speedrunners actually enabled me to get extra gems here because they have a method of charging through Jacques' attack to get the gems. It's a really weird glitch that it works, but it does. And speedrunners who are doing the 100% challenge usually go for it. It's obviously not really that useful in any percent because nobody really does Jacques, but for those that do Jacques for the 100%, which is everyone because you need to do everything for 100%, that's their method of killing Jacques quickly and getting around that part of the level quickly. So we did actually get 100 gems from Jacques that RJ actually missed out upon. Icy Flight, 0 out of 300 of course. So yeah, the Glide On Challenger obviously misses a huge amount of percent from flight levels. Pacifist Run, let's see if there's any talking points here. I think the only real talking points really are that Dark Passage was not fun at all to do due to the fact that you have to bypass so many enemies that are trying to kill you and eat you in such small areas. So Dark Passage wasn't fun at all. Lofty Castle, I think the talking point was using a damage proxy to get up to the gems that you're supposed to supercharge to, but you can do that without the damage proxy anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. It's just something else I like to show off. Haunted Towers was again had a talking point, and this time it was a different talking point. Yeah, I could actually get around that knight blocking the metal door and open the door anyway with Super Flame. That's not the issue. I think in the actual run I do the wizard proxy anyway, but you can actually get around that without doing the wizard proxy. Once I got over to the other end, the secret area, you can get to the Super Flame, and with enough patience you can actually get back out with the Super Flame, so you can open up a lot of stuff. We also managed to do a really clever supercharge around one of the knights, as well as get a chest that was hiding behind a wizard. So there was quite a few tricks in Haunted Towers for the Pacifist Run, and it's one of the few levels that actually had a lot of tricks to succeed with on it. So fair play to that. I did end up, just as a reminder, saying that you can't destroy any of the armored knights, even the ones that are not currently sentient, just keeping it consistent, because it adds too many grey areas of, oh, that wizard hasn't activated that knight yet, therefore he's not sentient right now, therefore I can kill him. It's just too much of a grey area, so the best way to bypass that is not make it an issue at all. Jacques, 315 out of 500 gems. Yeah, we obviously couldn't defeat any of the enemies here. The only talking point of this level is that we kind of got stuck for, well, I got stuck for about 10 minutes trying to figure out how I could finish this level, due to the fact that I couldn't get up to the place to use the key due to the enemies being on the podiums. But we figured out a way using a sneaky glide. So yeah, that concludes the Dreamweavers. We're on to the very last world now, so get excited. It's Gnorc Nexus. That's our final talking point before we reveal the scores. Finally, we get to Gnasty's world, or Gnorc Nexus. Nothing really to talk about the home world for, because we get 100% on all of the challenges. You just get the gems and the dragons in that world as the levels progress. So we're going to skip over to the charge only challenge for Gnorc Cove, where we got 100%, so there's actually nothing really to talk about for that level about what we missed or anything. Twilight Harbour, 100%, thanks to that amazing supercharge to get the last enemy, which is absolutely ridiculously difficult to do. and Gnasty Gnorc 100% because we allow flaming just for defeating Gnasty Gnorc so that the challenge has a fitting conclusion. Of course, we would be something like 125 gems short, I think, on this level if we couldn't actually flame Gnasty Gnorc. I think he drops 100 gems at the end and then 25 on the first hit, so... but yeah, for all the challenges, defeating Gnasty Gnorc was allowed, so let's keep it that way. And you'll notice that all of the challenges 100% Gnasty Gnorc with the exception of the next challenge, which is the Flame Only challenge. Again, 100% on Gnorc Nexus. We got 319 out of 400 gems on Gnorc Cove. A couple of strong boxes that you need to supercharge a barrel at to destroy, so we're missing quite a few gems there. As far as metal enemies go, we could get a few using TNTs or things like that, but we are missing a few metal enemies and we're missing a few strong boxes that require charging. Twilight Harbor, 340 out of 400 gems. We got quite a lot done in Twilight Harbor. We're missing the strong box at the sort of halfway point through the level. You need to supercharge to get to that, and it has quite a large amount of gems, and there's a bunch of metal chests at the very end of the level that we can't get, and there's obviously a couple of metal chests scattered throughout that we can't get. So that's what we're missing on Twilight Harbor. We did get all the dragons. Gnasty Gnorc, we had 445 out of 500 gems. That's a significant portion of the gems, but we didn't quite get the 100%. That's purely because the route to actually kill Gnasty Gnorc has quite a lot of metal chests scattered along the way. There, of course, we had to avoid no exceptions for the last level just so that we can get 100% on all challenges. But Gnasty Gnorc himself was the exception. Which brings me to just a little side thing that I'm going to show you right now to take away from the video. So we figured out that you can't defeat Gnasty Gnorc without flame, which is why we had the charge only challenge. He's actually allowed to flame Gnasty Gnorc, and the pacifist run, of course, is allowed to flame Gnasty Gnorc. And the no gliding challenge doesn't stop us from flaming Gnasty Gnorc. But one little thing that's actually kind of interesting that sets the flame only challenge a little bit apart from the charge only challenge is that if you watch the video I'm about to show you right now, you can actually defeat Gnasty Gnorc without charge. So I'm going to quickly show you that now. And there you have it. So technically speaking, that's a big boost for flame because you can actually kill the end boss without charging. So if I had known this little detail before I'd done all of the recordings, it may have changed the way I did the challenge a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm not going back to change any of the rules or anything like that, so just bear in mind in the back of your head that Gnasty Gnorc can actually be defeated without charging at all, can be defeated without gliding at all. So yeah, anyway, let's go over to the no gliding challenge. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. There we go, we've been through the no gliding challenge because there had been no problems on any of those levels. So that's great. And now, of course, we go over to Gnasty's world, onto the pacifist run. 100% Gnorc Nexus because there's no enemies. Gnorc Cove, we're missing all gems that are enemies only. Twilight Harbor, again, we're missing all gems that are enemies only. And Gnasty Gnorc, we could kill the thieves because they're not made of gems, which means that they were inherently evil, like Gnasty Gnorc himself, the guy that cast the spell. We was allowed to defeat him, giving us 100% on Gnasty Gnorc. So yeah, the first two challenges on Gnasty's world had a bit more of a collection of talking points, whereas the latter two, not so much, because we just had a series of 100% and a series of, oh, we couldn't get these enemies. So now, the moment we've been waiting for, I'm going to show the actual final scores for the challenges in 3, 2, 1, reveal. And there you have it. The charge only challenge finishes with 9,791 gems, 80 dragons, all 12 eggs, and a total of 90% completion. The Flame Only Challenge finishes with 10,644 gems, 80 dragons, and 12 eggs, 94% completion. The No Gliding Challenge, 9,849 gems, 76 dragons, 88% total completion, and 11 eggs. And the last challenge, Spyro the Pacifist Run, 8,366 gems, 80 dragons, 12 eggs, and 84% total completion. So, those of you that predicted that the Flame Only Challenge was actually going to be the most successful one, congratulations, you were in the minority, but you were correct. If you look, the Flame Only Challenge dominates on treasure by, I think, let's take a look, 9,849 is in second place, so it's about 800 gems ahead of second place in terms of the amount of treasure you can collect. It ties in first place with the Pacifist Run and the Charge Only Run for total amount of dragons as well as total amount of eggs. So the 4% extra is purely from gems. Those 800 gems equate to 4% apparently. In terms of the rest of it, yes, the No Glide Challenge was actually second place in terms of treasure. It did miss out on 4 dragons and it missed out on 1 egg, which puts it on 88%, just a short way behind the Charge Only Challenge. It was actually pretty tight between those challenges in particular. I think just maybe getting that extra egg and maybe 1 or 2 more dragons would actually tie them percent-wise. And of course then, the Pacifist Run finishes in 4th place with 84%. It was 10 whole percent behind the winner, as well as 4% behind its nearest competitor. So that's it. Just to reiterate, I should say one more time, Flame Only Challenge number 1, Charge Only Challenge number 2, No Gliding Allowed number 3, and Pacifist Run number 4. So, in conclusion, it's clear that having access to metal chests, while it's a good thing, it's actually a lot more valuable having access to all of the gems in the speedways and all of the gems in the bosses that require flame. Thank you so much for everyone that has stuck through this challenge from the very beginning. 3 years, more than 30 episodes, and more than 36 hours worth of footage, and probably more than 100 hours worth of editing for me. Until I feel reignited to do the Spyro 2 version of this challenge, this is the end. I'm going now. I would like to offer you all a very fond farewell. I have been Manic X from the beginning, Toonie SA now. Goodbye. Alright, what's behind door number 3? You don't think I was going to end this challenge without doing Gnasty's loot, did you? It's like necessary at this point. After all of these years, we can see what's behind door number 3. After the Pacifist Run, I decided to go genocide, and I went back and defeated all of the enemies. Well, I defeated most of the enemies, and then yeah, here we go. Gnasty's loot. $12,000 gems. Alright, this is just for fun. The challenge run doesn't apply here. This is just, let's get everything just for fun. Oh, it's been so many years since I did this that I actually forgot that there's a ceiling that doesn't let me rise above it. I love it. Purple gems everywhere. If it was no gliding, I would have already failed. Let's try and get this guy. Come back here. Super fast thief. Super duper fast thief. Get back here. Alright, there we go. We've got a key. Not entirely sure what the keys open. As I said, it's been a really long time since I did this level. When I'm 100% in the game, usually I don't bother with this level because it's not really anything special. Let's see. I think I got everything around here. Can I get up here? Not yet. Must have to go down here then. I think there's like a thief in a plane, if I remember correctly, that runs this way. Or flies this way on an airplane anyway. Let's find out. Oh, apparently not. Oh, could have sworn there was a thief on that side. So where do I go now? Can't go up here, can I? Can I? Is it letting me go high enough now? Nope. So there must be a keyhole. There's a return home pole up there. There we go. Gems. This allows us to get some more height, which apparently I guess breaks the script. Which means we should now. Okay, we still can't get up there. Is the thief plane guy here yet? I could have sworn there was a thief guy in a plane up here. Okay, maybe we need to get higher to get to that guy. So we'll come back to that later. Oh, we should be now high enough to glide to those gems over there. It's a really bizarre level, this. Let's see if we can get this guy using just the fan. Yes, we can. Perfect. No chasing required. And we get another key. Oh, there we go, chest. Must get everything. I forget how many gems are in here exactly, whether it's like 2,000 maybe. Alright, that's not the way to go yet. I guess I need to backtrack to that door I saw over here. That's the one. And yep, that's the right door. Ah, plane guy, there you are. He was hiding behind here all along. Lucky for you, there's a cutscene, otherwise I would have got you. The question is, where did he go exactly? There you are. Alright, the lower you glide, the faster you are, so that's the method that we need to go for here. Alright, not quite that low. There's some stairs. Where's that guy go? Is he even flying around here? Or am I just flying around in a circle for no reason? Did he go this way? Okay, let's try up here. Oh, maybe this isn't the right one. Wasting time. Oh well, it's my last chance to play this game really, because I'm done with it. Oh wait, there he is. He does fly in a circle around here, I knew it. Just couldn't see him, because he's so fast. Wow. Camera. Oh, okay, he evaded me. Come on, come on. How much closer do I need to get to flame this guy? Flame doesn't even make you slower while doing it, so I don't really understand. Come on, come on. I'm not even sure if he eventually gets slower. Oh, I thought that was the one. Okay, let's try going this way to get him. Oh no, he's too smart for us. He actually evades us by flying out of our range. Come on. This is ridiculous now. How close do you have to be to this guy? Apparently ridiculously close, because this is silly now. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, we got you. What did you drop for us? A key. We can just about get up here. How do I open this chest? Oh, firework, of course. Oh, he's too smart for our sneak strats. Right, this is where we need to fly close to the lava to pick up enough speed to catch up to this guy because he's ridiculously fast. We saw with the first guy he was bad enough. This guy is on a whole nother playing field. Assuming, yeah, okay, he auto triggers, I don't have to go up there again, that's kind of nice. I wonder if actually his physics are affected by being closer to the lava, I don't actually know. I also don't know who thought that this as the prize for being in the game would be a good idea, chasing the thieves. Oh, wow, I think it makes the pipes turn red if you actually flame them. That's pretty awesome. Oh, gotcha! Right, let's go and get that firework if we can. Yes, we can. Gotta burn 'em all, gotta burn 'em all. Fireworks. It's a party over here. Oh, there's one more firework. Let's get that while we're over here. I'm not sure where that one's going to exactly. Did it go down somewhere? 805 gems, so there's quite a lot missing. Okay, there's some gems up there. Let's go for those next. Some gems over there, maybe. Ah, yeah. Okay. Alright, there's also another lock up here, so that's a good sign. For 110 gem, really? So what we get for all of that is one single 10 gem in a room. Alright, that's where the thief was, so we can't be expected to go back that way. Am I now... Do I now have enough height to go to the return home port? I think I do. There it is spawning into view. 950 out of 2,000 gems. There we go. This is Gnasty's treasure trove, directly in front of that beautiful painting of the Grand Master himself. Just watch our score just keep rising up and rising up and rising up. Is that the 2,000 or did I miss 50 gems somewhere? It feels like there's going to be 1,000 just in here and then there's 25 more. Nope. 2,000 out of 2,000 gems, and there we have it. That has been Spyro the Dragon. No flame, no charge, no glide, pacifist, and then a bit of genocide at the very end so that we could complete the game. I have been ToonySA, and this has been an absolute privilege to play through for you guys. I hope to see you on the next one. Farewell. I'm returning home.
Defeated Gnasty Gnorc, collected the dragon eggs, saved all the dragons, and recovered every bit of treasure in the Dragon Kingdom. How do you feel?
I feel fired up, Bob. And I'm happy for the dragon world, of course. I certainly wouldn't want to spend the rest of my dragon days butting heads with Gnasty Gnorc and his weird minions.
What's a minion?
Never mind. You know what they say. For every good battle, you need a good adversary. And I felt that Gnasty, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent. Uh-oh. Here we go again.